before we jump on to the payout annexures, right? So a lot of questions that we receive is how do I get access to my payout reports, right? So there are two mediums in which we can do that, right? The first one being from the app. So this, right? So on the app, when I go to the past payout section, I have an option to download the report, right? And the other is a weekly email that we send out, right? So an email goes to the partner on the registered email ID each time a payout is released, right? So the email has attachments in it. So I'll just show you what the attachment looks like. Once you download the annexure, this is the file that gets downloaded, right? So this is the statement of account, right? So this is where you can get access to your data in an Excel format. This is the place where you can use this data to run any sort of reconciliation at your end. Use it for your accounting purposes and or use it for your GST and tax filing, right? So the whole section of annexure is divided into six different tabs, right? The first one being the summary, which gives me like a very quick understanding of what the payout cycle was, when was the payout settled in my account, what is the overall amount that I was supposed to receive, right? Overall orders, which is the sum of my delivered and cancelled orders that were eligible for payment. And then what we've also done is we've included the UTR number here, right? So you can just simply use this UTR number and to refer for this particular transaction in your bank account, right? So this gives you an understanding of whether the right amount was credited to you or not, right? Then we have a bunch of sections to help you understand your payouts better, right? We have the payout breakup, right? Which tells me what is the breakup of my entire earnings. This is very similar to the screen that we saw on the app right now, right? Then the order level view. This gives me a consolidated view of all the orders that were eligible for payment in this cycle, and then a breakdown of my different sales, my deductions, my Swiggy fees, right? My taxes, to arrive at the final order level value of what I was supposed to make for that order. Then there's the unresolved customer complaint section, right? This section will include all the orders that were not paid because no action was taken on the complaint in the payout cycle, right? So once you resolve them on the app or on the partner dashboard, in the next cycle, the system will automatically use these orders and then settle these orders with you in the next cycle, right? Then there's other charges and deductions, right? This gives you an understanding of all the restaurant level deductions that have happened to you in the current cycle, as well as the ones that have been carried forward from previous weeks, right? So for example, in one of the cycles, your advertisement spend was slightly higher than what you made. In that case, what happens is we carry forward the balance amount to your next cycle. Right? Then there's a discount summary view, which gives me a P&L understanding view of what my discounts look like. And then there is a glossary, which gives me an understanding of all the definitions and all the terms that I use in the current annexure. So this is basically our way of letting partners understand, right, what each of the terminology used in the annexure stands for. Right? I'll move on to the payout breakup. Right? This view is very similar to what we saw on the app, right? So orders will tell me what is the total number of orders. We've split this thing into delivered and cancelled for your ease of understanding, right? And then the overall total sum that I've been paid out for, right? Then the same 5 sections that we saw earlier is visible here, right? So there's customer paid, there's fees, then there's complaints and cancellation, there's other charges and refunds, and then there's taxes, and then there's my total net payout, right? Now, item total, packaging, discount share, GST. This typically forms the components of my overall customer paid. This is what the customer would have paid to the restaurant right on the platform. So item total plus packaging is my overall gross sales. Discount share is my restaurant share of discount. So let's say if you're running a discount on an order on your restaurant, right? And then there's an agreement between, let's say, the restaurant and Swiggy, where restaurant agrees to do 80% of the funding and 20% is with Swiggy. This will only include the 80% share of the discount. So let's say if 100 rupees was availed on the order by the customer, right? Only 80 rupees will be attributed to the restaurant and only 80 will show up here is what we'll add. Then the rest 20 goes into the P&L for Swiggy, right? GST collected based on the GST 95 rules, right? Whether you're a restaurant category, whether you're a hybrid category or a non-restaurant category, we collect the GST from the customer and then we pass on this GST that we've collected to the government on your behalf. Right, then the fees section. This is the various components that Swiggy collects that contributes to the overall fees that is collected by Swiggy. Right, commission being your base commission, which is the percentage commission that you guys are onboarded on. right? Then the long distance charges, this is an opt-in charge, right? Which essentially basically is the cost that Swiggy collects, right, for any long distance orders, right? And so on and so forth. There are various different charges here, right? And then the last item, which is basically the 18% service fee that is collected on the service charge, right? This is also collected from the partner, and then this is paid to the government on their behalf, right? And these are all invoiced. So with the annexure, you also receive an invoice in the email as well as on the app, right? So you can use this invoice for your GST return filing. Then the customer and complaint section, which essentially is my merchant share of cancel orders, which is basis the cancellation policy that you are on, and the refund that we would have offered on your behalf, and that you would have accepted on the complaints flow on the app. Right? Then there is the other charges and refund section. This is basically my restaurant level aggregate charge that I am collecting in this current cycle. Right? So let's say this restaurant would have bought a packaging material for 36 rupees, right? So we would have charged him 36 rupees from their payout. Right? Similarly, let's say they have purchased the top picks campaign through us, or they have purchased the CPC ads campaign through us, or a search ad campaigns through us, right? So you can clearly see a bifurcation of the different investments and the different collection that Swiggy has done on the restaurant, basis the services that the restaurant has availed. Right? So this gives me an aggregate sum. If I want to understand what is the split between campaigns, what is the split between this cycle and previous cycle, there's another sheet that we can go and refer to, which is the other charges and deductions. Right? Then there is there are my taxes, right? Which is my GST, TCS, and TDS. Right? This is the 95 value which we would have collected from the customer, and we retain it with us, right? And then we pay it every month to the government on the restaurant's behalf. And then there is a net payout, which tells me the final earning that I received as a restaurant. Moving on to the order level breakup, right? So this sheet gives me a detailed view of my order level earnings. So all deductions, all additions, right? All refunds offered to the customer is available in this particular sheet, right? So this gives you an overview of how your orders are performing, right? So first field is the order ID, right? Then there is the order date, right? We've got the order status, so this could either be delivered or cancelled, right? Then there is the coupon type which the customer would have applied on the order, right? Then from here is where we start the entire detailed view of how the order is structured and the breakup of it, right? So item total is the overall item total that the customer sees, right, after they've added the items in the cart. Right? Packaging charges is the overall packaging charges which is collected on this order from the customer, right? Then restaurant discounts, so all your promos, freebies, your flat off, right? Any coupon discount, which is your Swiggy Eat discount, right? Which is your try new discount. All of these discounts that the restaurant is sort of owning is available here, right? So all the cost that is borne by you will show up here. So for example, here for flat deal, 100 rupees was something that was promised by the restaurant to offer to the customer. So we recover the money here, and this is where you can access the overall discount share that is attributed to the restaurant. Right? Then there's an additional construct that we run, which is the Swiggy One exclusive offer discount. Right? This is a special offering that the partners can opt in for. Right? It's a flat deal that we offer to our Swiggy One customers above a certain minimum value of the order. Right? So this is also something that can be opted in by the restaurant and can be borne and the value that is charged can be seen here in this particular column, right? And column 3 basically gives me an overall sum of my overall discount that I as a restaurant is bearing, right? So this tells me, let's say if I was running both a coupon discount as well as a Swiggy One exclusive offer discount, right? Then this basically gives me the total discount that I have offered on that order as a restaurant, right? Then the net bill value, this is basically my item total plus packaging minus my restaurant discounts, right? So this tells me the net earning that I would have had on the order before taxes, and this also forms the basis of my tax calculation, right? GST collected is basically the value basis the 5% slab, right? So the value that we would have collected from the customer, this shows up here, And column A is basically my total customer paid, right? Which is nothing but the sum of my net bill value and my GST. So this basically tells me the net sales I've made on the order, right? Now from here we start the second section, which is all the charges that Swiggy collects, right? So this tells me the commissionable value, the value on which I'm charging the commission, the percentage of commission that I'll be charging to the restaurant, right? So this is nothing but my percentage multiplied my commissionable value. This gives me an understanding of what my base commission is, right? Similarly, we have long distance charges. We have Pocket Hero fees, right? Pocket Hero is another offering that we allow our restaurants partners to participate in, right? So through this, we try to tap in few more customers by giving them a little more discounts and cashbacks, right? Then my payment collection, which is my payment gateway charges, right? And then the GST which I'm collecting, right, on the net fees, as per the 18% slab, right? So this is nothing but charged on the sum of all the fields that you see here, right? If I do for 18% of that value, I arrive at what the GST is being collected for the commission, right? And this column tells me the overall deductions as part of the Swiggy fees that Swiggy is collecting, right? Then the customer cancellations. This is the basis the customer cancellation policy that is aligned to your restaurant. We pay a part of the value to you, right? And a part of it might be kept by Swiggy. In a lot of scenarios, we pay the entire amount to the restaurant, right? So the terms of it is mentioned in the policy clearly. Right. Customer complaints, basically, again, all my refunds that I'm giving to my customer that are being accepted or expired by the restaurant, right? We show that value here, right? And this is essentially at an order level, what is the overall complaint and cancellation charges that I am bearing as a restaurant partner. I can access it from here. Then starts my total taxes section, which is my GST deduction, my 9.5 deduction basically, right? My TCS we charge only to restaurants who are not registered with GST on the platform, right? And basis the new terms, we charge 0.5% of the order value here, right? Similarly, TDS, from October 1st, we've now started to charge 0.1% instead of 1%. So in the payout cycle or payouts that you start receiving from 10th October, you will see the TDS value being calculated based on the 0.1% methodology. So this is something that is being recovered for all orders, right? Column D tells me the overall taxes that I am liable to pay to the government, right? And then the net payout is the final earning at an order level that I might get, that I'm getting for this order, right? So this is the sum of my customer paid, right, minus all my fees that Swiggy is collecting, minus my complaint and cancellation charges, minus all the taxes, right? After I subtract the three broad values, I arrive at the final net earning for that order, right? And when I do an aggregate of this gives me an overall order level earnings that I'm supposed to receive in the payout, right? Following this, we've added a few supportive information which helps you also reconcile, right? Long distance order, yes or no will tell me whether the order was a long distance order or not, right? Last mile tells me the distance between your restaurant or the pickup point to the point of delivery that the customer would have marked on the app, right? Then MFR, these are the details. MFR accurate tells me if I'm compliant with the way I'm pressing my MFR or not. Right? All of these data, pickup status tells me whether the order was picked up or not picked up, right? In the case especially in cases where it was cancelled, right? So all of these fields basically can be used to arrive at and understand which policy was applied and how much I should have earned on the payment, right? So till now we've covered the breakup and the order level view. The next few sections help me understand what is unresolved, right? What is the breakdown of my restaurant level charges, and then the glossary section, right? Unresolved basically tells me all the orders that were not acted upon by the restaurant, right? So for example, we see one order here, right? So this order, when the payout was being calculated, the restaurant had not resolved this complaint, right? So the moment they resolve it, in the next cycle, they see the value, this order being shown in the order level sheet. So we consider this amount in the next cycle then, post all the recoveries, right? So this table gives me an understanding of all the orders that are in the process state, all the orders that are not in the not processed state in the current period, right? So 223 were processed, one was not processed, right? This not processed will be processed in the next cycle once the resolution comes on the complaint. So this section will give me an understanding of a few orders that were not paid out to me in the current cycle, right? And then basically once I as a restaurant partner take an action on it, I automatically will get the money in the next cycle, right? Then there is the other charges, the restaurant adjustment detail section, right? Which we also call as the other charges and refunds, right? So this sheet essentially gives me a breakdown of all the adjustments, right? The restaurant level adjustments for different campaigns, right? The various invoice numbers if it's a carry forward transaction, and then the amount that was settled against the transaction and the amount that is still pending to be recovered, which we will recover in the next cycle. Right, so that view can be available, can be seen here, and the partner can access this section to view understand how the restaurant charges are being deducted. Right, what we've done is we've broken down this section into two tables, right? So one table tells me all the new or the fresh transactions which are from the payout period, right? So all the transactions that I am being billed for in the current cycle is available here. Anything that gets carried forward from the previous cycle, I'll see it here in the second table, right? So this is essentially for partners to understand and identify the breakdown between their overall adjustments which are new versus their adjustments which are not new and being carried forward from previous cycles. Right. This table tells me the adjustment type. What we've done is we've now, instead of using some internal terms, we've come up with very easy to understand nomenclature and terminology for the partners. Right. So CPC ads tells me the click ads that I'm purchasing. Right. Search ads tells me the search ads that I'm purchasing. Right. So we've now clearly given you a bifurcation of the different transactions for which we are recovering the money from your payout. Right, total amount tells me with GST, if it is a GST applicable transaction, what is the total amount that I am billed in the current cycle for this particular transaction. Settled amount tells me the money I have recovered now. So this is to be billed. This is what I have recovered. And outstanding will have the value of anything that I have not been able to recover due to shortage of order level earnings. Right. Then I see the period from and period to, which essentially tells me the payout, the transaction period between which this transaction was applicable, right? And then the invoice number. So the invoice that I can use to actually go and backtrack and understand what is the GST split of this particular transaction, right? And then there's a remark section which our team sort of enters in order to help you with the understanding of what this transaction stands for and what is the reason for deduction. Right. So this is available for both. The same table is available. Let's say if there's a carry forward transaction, the same table is available here, right? And this I can use to identify what is the overall adjustments that I was supposed to recover, and then what I have settled and what is outstanding and being carried forward to the next cycle. Yeah. And then there's a glossary section. This basically explains all the transactions that are all the terms that we've used inside, right? And gives you a definition of these terms, which helps you get a little more clarity on what these terms stand for, right? So that you can go back and see if the charge has been correctly accounted for in the payouts and your reports or not, right? So this is the annexure, right? This is a weekly report. You get this every week on your email. You can get it on demand on the application, right? There's an option to download the report in the past payout, right? So this is effectively the report that you can use for any sort of reconciliation that you have to understand your calculation and to understand your deductions.